I'm going to be honest, I quit drinking 5 years ago and my life has been far from easy. What I'm about to share with you is going to be personal and very difficult for me to talk about, but it has the potential to change lives if it falls on the right ears. In this video, I'm going to share 5 subtle but deadly warning signs that alcohol is wrecking your life without you even realizing it. If you're someone who's stuck, struggling, or wondering whether you're drinking too much, this might be the truth you need to hear. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Ben. I'm the founder of Hybrid Sobriety. I help you quit drinking and become the most disciplined, determined version of yourself. For those of you who are serious about quitting alcohol, I have a free training video for 2025. Link is in the description. Check it out. Here's what we're going to cover today. The 5 warning signs that alcohol is destroying your life, how to stop them in their tracks, and what to do next if these signs hit a little too close to home. Number 1, drinking myself legless. I remember I went out with my girlfriend. This was a long time ago, and we went out drinking. Long story short, we end up getting into an argument. I'm not going to go into the full details, but the best bit was I was actually staying over her house that night and she lived with her parents. So we went back to her house and we continued to argue. The arguing got so bad that I ended up sleeping downstairs in the living room. Her mother had to get bedding for me. She had to get me a blanket and pillow so I could sleep on the sofa. I just remember going downstairs and I was just so drunk. I was practically legless. As soon as she turned the light off for me to go to sleep, I just remember needing to be sick. I remember trying to get to the bathroom, falling off the sofa or falling down the side of the sofa, trying to get to the bathroom. And you know when you're just about to get to the toilet and you need to be sick, but you don't get there in time and then that vomit just comes out. And then you get the rest in the toilet. That is exactly what happened to me. I remember just being sick in the toilet. It was all dark and I was just thinking, I hope I hadn't got sick on the carpet. Luckily, I woke up in the morning and I looked at myself, I looked at the floor. It must have just been like pure vodka and water because there was no sign of sickness anywhere. But it didn't stop there. It got even worse. She had gone to work and I didn't have my car, so her mum had to give me a lift home. I remember just being so embarrassed that I was just paralytic drunk the night before. I just remember apologizing to her and just feeling like such an idiot. But I remember thinking to myself, imagine I was that drunk out in public where I literally couldn't even stand. What could have happened to me? I actually know people back home who have gone out on nights out and they've got so drunk, they've passed out in a field in the winter and they've actually died. If you're finding yourself in situations where you're legless drunk and you can't get home or friends are dragging you home, then this is a pretty good indication that drinking could be a deadly warning sign for you. The next warning sign is poor decision making. Now, I hope I don't incriminate myself in this video. Maybe I need to put a disclaimer up. This one's a big one. When I was younger, I may or may not have bought a car on eBay in a nightclub, stayed awake, rung the insurance company, insured it, and caught a train for 5 hours with my best mate without sleeping to buy the car. Probably not the best idea driving back after having no sleep. And it's definitely something I'm not proud of. I'm lucky I'm here today to tell the tale because looking back on my life, I've done some pretty crazy stuff. When I think about it, I'm very lucky to still be alive. Drinking leads us to all sorts of poor decision making. Now, I'm not saying that you need to travel to the other side of the country to buy a car, but even something as simple as being too drunk the night before and not going to work or not going to your parents' anniversary can be equally just as bad. Whatever these things are, they all have a compounding effect over the course of your life. Next one is health problems. What I'm about to talk about is something I've never spoken about before on the internet, and I don't even think many of my friends actually know this. And I'm quite surprised I'm talking about it now. So I'm not going to go into too much detail. When I was very young, I think I was about 20, 21, went out drinking on a night out with friends, as you do, took some recreational drugs, went back to a house party, pretty normal standard stuff. And I had my car with me. And I remember my friend took the car keys home, and I'd been awake for like 2 days, drinking, taking drugs, smoking cigarettes with a bunch of people I didn't really know. And I remember trying to get home. And I couldn't find my car keys. And I just remember thinking that I'd locked my car keys in the car. It was quite a rough area, and there was this guy, and he was like, I can break into your car for you if you want. I was like, okay. So he comes with a hammer and chisel, smashes the back window. I get into the car, there's no car keys in there. So I'm just left up in this rough neighborhood. I'm like 21, haven't slept, not thinking clearly, and I can't get home. And I just remember just walking to this like nearby field, and I'm just sitting on this field. I'm like so thirsty. I'm not thinking straight, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, I just really need to get home to sleep. So I'm like, right, I'm going to have to get home. So didn't have any money on me. My battery was dead on my phone. So I start walking back to my dad's house, get to my dad's house, and I don't know what I'd been taking, but it probably wasn't cocaine, and I just literally couldn't sleep. It was just the worst. So I remember my dad had these really strong sleeping tablets. Wasn't thinking straight, just went up, took a load of them, and yeah, so basically I just ended up in hospital on a life support machine. I just remember waking up and I had all these needles in my arms, and yeah, I almost literally died. And I remember as soon as I could get out of that hospital, I went home and I just went back straight out partying, went over my friend's house. And yeah, pretty stupid stuff. I mean, that's a pretty extreme story, but just think about it. I went out that night just drinking, no intention of taking drugs, no intention of taking sleeping tablets, or going to hospital. Literally one thing does lead to another when you're drinking. So for you, it could be not as extreme. Maybe you might get liver cirrhosis further down the line, or you could have kidney failure. But that was a big wake-up call for me. And I didn't stop drinking after that. I was still going for another 9, 10 years after that. So very personal story. And I'm going to leave it in the middle of the video because only the guys who are serious about quitting drinking, I want you to see this. I don't want someone who's going to like turn the video on, see it straight away and turn it off because they don't deserve to see this video. Only for the serious ones. On to the next point. Just thinking about all this stuff I'm talking about, I am literally so lucky to still be alive. Quitting drinking at the age of 30 seems late, but looking at all the crazy stuff I've done in the past, it's quite remarkable that I'm here talking to you. Just wanted to add that in. So the next point is financial struggles. During my mid-20s, let's just say I wasn't the best with money. I remember one time joking with my friend after just getting paid that the money that I was getting from my job, I think I've told you, I used to work as an electrician, but I used to actually see these as party tokens, session tokens, cocaine tokens. I didn't actually view it as money. I just viewed it as something I would just exchange for alcohol, cigarettes, drugs, you name it. It seemed funny on a Friday until I would find myself Sunday, body craving sugar, craving junk food, no money in my bank, no money in my wallet. I just remember going into my car and like trying to get all the 20 pence pieces, looking for pound coins down the side of my sofa. My life was just an absolute mess. I was just trying to sponge together a couple of quid so I could go to the shop and just buy chocolate. Talking about this just reminds me why I will never, ever drink again. And I always say one of the reasons why you guys always go back to drinking, if you have stopped before in the past, is because when you stop drinking, you do it because you've experienced some sort of pain and you're like, right, that's it. I'm not going to drink again. Then you may go a month or 2 months and then you forget that pain. And this is when you go back to drinking and then you get more pain and then you realize you need to stop drinking. And that cycle just repeats itself over and over. Now, I'm not saying that you need to like dwell on your past, but sometimes, like now, me just remembering all the bad situations I've been in, it just cements my decision to never drink again. You might not be able to relate to this because everyone's journey is different. Maybe you're someone who's had some success. You're comfortable, you're taking your foot off your gas, you're going out, having a few drinks, but try and play the tape forward and ask yourself, if you keep going where you are now, maybe not in a year's time, but in 5 or 10, will you be in a good position? Will you still have that business? Will you still have that job or that family that you've worked so hard for? Maybe as someone who's working towards that, but if you keep drinking, will you even achieve that? I've been in some pretty rock bottom positions, and as all I can say is thank God I stopped drinking at 30, because who knows where my life could have panned out if I didn't. I definitely wouldn't be here with you guys right now, that is for sure. Next up is killing your potential. This is a big one. Every day that you drink alcohol is a day wasted, and it's a day that could have been used building a life that you don't want to run away from. Becoming that version of you you always knew you could be. It's a day that could have been spent fully present with your family, walking your dog, building the business. It's a day that's spent living in reality instead trying to escape it. Now, I hope you've got something positive from these personal stories. It's not something I'm proud of, but we've all got a story. And if it helps someone change their life, then it was worth telling. I always say, no craving, no problem. And I have a video how to stop cravings in their track here. I thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.